disclaimer. The results that I present during the workshop are highly attainable, but work is required. So there is a lot of people online today who are all about the get results without doing any work, right? They say that's what they do minimal work to get results. That's not me. There's work to be done, but results are possible. So just wanted to throw it out there that there's work to be done, basically. All right. And today you're going to learn a highly demanded skill that's helped over 200 people worked in the past, land six-figure jobs in information technology, and you don't need a tech degree or prior tech experience to get this done. So if you're looking to break into tech, or maybe you're already in tech but looking to make a career change, then keep listening. Today is for you. And this is what you'll be able to do. You become a sought after IT professional, get to do meaningful work, fulfilling work. A lot of people do work they don't like, and a six-figure income, possibly multiple. I have my thoughts about that. Work from home, if that's something you're looking for, get that. Work-life balance, if you're looking for a long career, in a space, then this is an ideal situation to be in. And then you get to live out your career dreams. If you have other goals in the future, absolutely this becomes a springboard for you to pursue those things. All right, so who is this workshop for? You're looking to get into tech, but you have limited tech expertise, right? You don't have any prior tech experience, and you've been asking that question. I get this all the time. People come to me and say, hey, I don't know. I have no prior background in information technology. Can I do this? So if that's you, you're in the right place. If you're already in tech, but you're looking to transition into a new role, then definitely this is for you as well. If you're already in tech, but you're looking to move, maybe you're on the lower tier roles in tech, but you're looking to move up, upwards, then definitely you're in the right room. Also, if you're looking to maybe still you're making money already, but you're paying a steep price to make, have that career or make the money you're making, and you're looking for something that's more, humane, but still, not giving up the income you're doing. If that's you, then welcome, you're in the right place. Or you're just working a low income job and you believe you deserve better, welcome again. This is the right place to be. Now, who am I? Why should you listen to me? My name is Nnamdi Iheanacho. I've been practicing for the last 12 years as a database engineer, database administrator in different organizations. Before I continue, if you have any questions at any point, please put it in the chat. I'll be going to the chat from time to time, and I'll try to answer on the fly, but I'll dedicate plenty of time at the end as well to answer every question. So go ahead and put any questions you have in the chat, and I will answer them once we're done with the presentation. Or if it's something I can speak to right away, I will also address it. So, been in the game 12 years as a DBA. I've been in tech for the last 18, going on 19 years now. 2005 was when I got my first internship in information technology. I got into college 2003. So you can age me back like that. I've trained about 300 students and helped them get into six-figure careers as database administrators. My journey started as an immigrant, here in the US. And like most immigrants, you go through, I came the student visa route, got my master's degree in computer science and information systems. And when it came time to find a job, I figured I learned the hard way that there was not too many platforms to help people like myself, transition into the corporate workforce. Even with my skills, even with my certificates, my credentials and experience, it was a challenge. And so I found my way. I accidentally stumbled into database administration, right? I knew somebody who was a DB already, and I kind of liked the way their lifestyle, and the way they worked, and I desired to do the same thing. And I figured this is something I think I can pick up after having some conversations. And that was how I, started self-studying, invested in some training, and it worked out well for me. My wife came and joined me from the UK to the US, and also had a similar story, similar struggle to break into our own career path. Thankfully, today we're all doing well. We've, found our way into the careers we love, and we're thriving, but it showed us that there was a clear challenge with, when people who are in our situation are trying to make this jump, there's not as much infrastructure to help them make that transition, equip them, and then guide them into into a new role, a new role in tech or their desired career path. And that's been our inspiration, right? That's what's driven us to start N-Star Technologies. That's why we do what we do through these forums, right? It's because we know the struggle to navigate career change, especially if you're an immigrant like myself. It's especially interesting, and there's a lot of misinformation in our communities, and so that's why we're passionate about this, and that's why we do what we do, to not just teach you a skill, but build community around you so that you are not navigating your career change by yourself, right? Our programs are built to help our students even beyond the structure of the formal class, right? So that's our journey, and like I said, we're grateful to have had the opportunity to impact so many people all through our time, helping several people go from doing unrelated stuff to six-figure careers and multiple jobs as database engineers. Just some of my students, I still spoke to Shay last week, he's doing really well, doing really well. It's been quite a bit since he took our class with us, but his journey coming from, not a technical background, and I don't even want to talk about what he was doing before, but he came and put in the work, and he is doing really great here in Atlanta. Mr. Clayton is another of my favorite people. Also no background in tech. He just wanted to hustle, go out, do his business, but decided I want something more stable, and came to us, and rest is history. And there's more of them, there's Onye, there's Jennifer, there's Shay, another Shay. I think all the Shays are attracted to NSTAR. And so we've had success working with people, to transition into information technology. And I'm putting their LinkedIn profiles because there are people you can look up and see what they are up to right now. All right, so that's what I'm excited about, what I'm about to share with you, because it has the potential to be the beginning of a new day for you. All right, so put a 1 in the chat. Let me know if you are ready, if you're excited to dive into all I have for you today. All right, let me get a 1 in the chat. Let me make sure. I need your feedback because you're not here in the room with me. So that's the only way I know you're paying attention. So give me a 1 in the chat. Let me know that you are here and you're pumped. I just need 1 in the chat. Come on. All right. There we go. I got 1. I just need 1 to continue. All right. And again, it's important that you give me feedback. And that way, I'm real. I'm not the video recording. All right. So what are we talking about today? My goal today is to provide a detailed overview of what database administration is really about. I need you to be able to speak clearly to somebody and tell them, this is what I'm trying to get into. This is the career path I'm exploring. This is what I did today. I want to show you the opportunities within database administration, right? So you can see what's possible, what's attainable, what's not, right? So you can know what you're working towards. And then I'll highlight the top non-technical skills you need to succeed as a database administrator. Today we're talking about non-technical skills required to be successful, right? So you see whether you're built for this or not, right? Some of the things you might already have, some things you might need to work on to go on and be successful. And I'll show you exactly how to get started over the next few minutes as we navigate today's conversation. All right, so today's topic is non-technical skills every database administrator needs to be successful. But let's start with, what is a database? And the question I always ask following this up is, can you store information inside of it? Can I safely and securely put information here and store it, right? Think of the old school filing system back in the day when we used to go to hospitals, and then you would get a folder that is assigned to you, and that's where the doctor will write on their prescriptions and updates. Now we've moved to the era of electronic medical records, right? Your records are stored in like an Epic or in some system, right? So now everywhere you go, they can impute your information and pull up your medical history, pull up the medications you've been prescribed, all of that. That is a database at the back end, right? We deal with data. Imagine how much data do you have in your phone? Pictures, contacts, text messages, emails. That's all information that you have stored in your phone. That makes this a database. Imagine your brain, how much information is in there, right? How much information, and right now I am talking to you, I am imputing new records into your brain, and your brain can absorb and save that and store that, and you can reference what I'm saying in the future. That makes your brain a database. So anywhere you can store information is a database, right? And I want you to think of it like this. You deal with databases on a regular basis. On a daily basis, every one of you listening to me right now works with data, works with databases. You make decisions based on data. You did some calculation in your day-to-day, and then you analyze the data, of things that you have going on, and you decided, I have some time, I'm going to attend this workshop I signed up for. We all deal with data. We all make decisions using data. We all decide based on data that was available to us. So every one of us is kind of a database administrator already, okay, without even the technical skills. So we're already in the right path. So that's a database. Now, who is a database administrator? Who is a database administrator? And I put a definition on the screen there. So a DBA is a tech expert who ensures the company's crucial information is always organized, accessible, and secure. They use the specialized software to manage databases, which are like digital filing cabinets for storing important business data. So they are responsible basically for managing business critical data for organizations. Is someone listening to me, right? It's every business thrives on data. I don't care what business you mention. Any business you can think of one business right now, right? Think of any organization, think of any non-profit, big business, banks, retail store, Walmart, Kroger's. Think of any one of them. Yes, they have their service that they offer, but even that service they offer is driven by data, right? For a Walmart, for a Kroger, they need to maintain record of inventory. So they know what to order and what's out of stock. They know what is selling and what's not selling well. Those are data-driven decisions. They have to manage inventory somehow. That's how they know, okay, we're running out of this particular thing, so you need to order more. It's recorded somewhere and somebody goes and makes an order. They need to know how many sales have we made today. That's stored somewhere. It's calculated somewhere. That place is a database, right? And a database administrator is helping them manage all of that. They put things in place to ensure that those records are up to date. They are accessible to who needs to have access to it. So you don't have access to what you don't need to have access to because it is not your information, right? We can all use the same bank, right? Let me say myself and all of us in this workshop right now, we all use Bank of America. I will never sign into my Bank of America account and see your bank statement or your balance because I don't have the privileges. I am not an authorized user. Even though I am a legitimate Bank of America account holder, I am not authorized to see your information because it is not in my jurisdiction. A DBA has put things in place to ensure that you have access to what you need. And if it is not something within your realm, you don't get to see that. That's security, right? Accessibility, making sure data is available when it's needed. All of that is part of the things we do, okay? And we do that using specialized software called database management systems or database management platforms. Okay, and I'm going to show you a few examples of some of those platforms. Okay, so what are some of the things that we do? What are the duties? While we talk about who is a DBA, what exactly is our duty on the job? Again, remember I said I want you to have a good understanding of what exactly who exactly a database administrator is. Right. The first thing I put, again, this is a very high level helicopter view, 10,000 feet view of the details of what the role of a DBA entails. But it starts with organizing data, right? You're creating and managing databases to store information efficiently. You're ensuring data is well structured and easy to access. Again, it's about access. I don't want to log into my bank account and not see my balance or have to jump through hoops to get to what my balance is. Right? You want that to be prompt and easily available. Maintain data integrity. So when I log in to see my bank statement, I want the information there to be correct. Right? I want anything that is like pending transactions frustrate me sometimes. Like, do I have money or do I not have money? Okay, so it's about data integrity. It's about accuracy of data that's available to the end user, and then they are taking backups regularly to ensure that your data is not lost. Like, I don't want to hear that your accounts, your databases, your servers were hacked, and so now I can't access my money. Right? So how do I prevent that? By taking consistent backups. Right? And then we talk about supporting users, end users, whoever is using the data that is stored in the database is an end user. Okay, so if they have any issues, we're the ones who investigate, answer questions, ensure that they have access to their data, their information, optimize performance. Again, performance is about speed. You do a Zelle transaction in real time. You can send money from Atlanta to Houston, right? In real time, it's as fast as the speed of light. Money is not physically moving from Atlanta to Houston, but records are being updated at the back end in real time to ensure that I can do in half a second, I can send you any amount of money that is within, regulations. I can update that record. And honestly, it's any amount of money can be sent across the wire in a heartbeat. The only reason why there's limits to how much you can send through Zelle or all of these platforms, these are just policies to prevent fraud or things like that. But it is no different technology wise or technical wise. There is no difference in the effort that will require to transfer $10,000 versus $1,000. So just showing you again, I'm using a very relatable example so that you can start seeing the reality, the real parts of what we do as database engineers, database administrators. Then we talk about security. Security is about access. Who has access to what, right? We think about security, we think about hacking or All right, can everyone hear me? I think I heard. Can you see me now or hear me? Whatever happened, that's where I was going. Oh, okay. Oh boy, I'm so sorry, and I was giving away all the good stuff. Let me share my screen again. Can someone tell me where you stopped, where you lost connection with me? Um, does anyone recollect where did you stop hearing or seeing me? All right. Is it back now? I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on today with this. Is the audio back? Is it better? Oh, okay, awesome. My apologies. This is going so well from my end. All right, so let's talk about some of the opportunities available, the career opportunities you have as a database administrator, right? Why is this a good career path? If you check the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, which is a good site, I think everybody needs to kind of just check in on once in a while to, people just go blindly to, okay, I want this because it's a trend. What makes it a trend? The people you know around is not enough to decide what's a trend. Go and check on this website and see, is this something people are hiring for, right? Is this how many people were hired last year? I think that's a good way to make a call, right? Let's make decisions data-based or data-driven decisions. So according to the Department of Labor, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the database admin field is expected to grow by 8% between 2022 and 2032, right? And that's over 10,000 new positions each year. New positions, not talking about the ones that open up maybe because somebody resigned or changed or expanded roles within companies. There are hundreds of thousands of jobs on field positions to date. If you go on LinkedIn, there are hundreds of thousands of on-field positions, database administrator positions every year. Not talking about the new ones. All right, so it's a viable career path with abundance of opportunities, and that's something you want when you're making a transition. So it's in high demand. There are diverse opportunities across the DBA landscape, right? Again, the DBA skills are universally valuable, regardless of the industry, the niche, regardless of where. It's the question here is, where can a DBA work, right? And the answer is everywhere, whether it's hospitals, whether it's farms. I've had poultry farms trying to hire, students from us. There's all manner of companies, manufacturing, the financial sector, all looking to hire database engineers because of the nature of what we do. Every business needs data, needs someone to manage their data. Every business is managing data somehow, some way. So that means opportunities abound for us, across industries, across organizations. All right. So in terms of income, what do we really make? Again, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the mean salary is around $101,000. So when we say get a six-figure career, that is about the average, national average. So it pays what it's, again, verifiable information. I'm doing this from Atlanta. The average, if you go on ZipRecruiter to check average DBA salary in Atlanta, it's around 110K, and that's around where my students get hired for out of the program. That's around where they start. Between that 105 to 110 is the standard initial salary people get before by their second gig. They're getting 120, 124, for salaried employees. But then the ones that do hourly rates, it can go significantly higher. Right, people are doing 65, 70, which goes more to the 140, 145K a year. So you can earn way over six figures, a healthy, 100K, six-figure salary doing this. Again, I have a graphic from the Department of Labor's website to buttress what I'm saying. It's a public website. I encourage you to go check it out. I have a few job listings, just to verify, to show you what the market is saying. This is from Dice. Dice is one of your top job sites, tech job platforms for looking for, applying for jobs. We have another one from Dice as well. Again, that person is making $55 an hour, which again is considered average for us. All right, and these are some places where we've seen people being hired from our programs. You can see the range. Again, this is a very small subset. From banks to Equifax for credits, hospitals, manufacturing, utility, mobile communications, health insurance. It's a healthy, wide range. So your dream company is looking for database administrators, I promise you. So in terms of where does this go, depending on what you're looking for, this is one of those places where, future casting, you have job stability. Right, it's one of those places where you can be guaranteed or certain of stability in your job. There's going to be demand, ongoing demand. There will always be demand because businesses will always need somebody to manage their data. Again, you can see that starts from Department of Labor's estimated 50% growth over the next 10 years. Now, what are some entry requirements? Some myths we have, again, that you need to have a degree in computer science. That's not required. Is it nice to have? Yes. Does it help to have a bachelor's in computer systems or computer science or computer engineering? Absolutely. I have those degrees. So I wouldn't say don't get them or it does nothing for you. But it is not a barrier of entry. It is not. You don't even require a college degree, right? And that's a myth people kind of postulate all the time. So come on in, sir. Another one people talk about is how you doing? Namdi. People talk about you need to be very proficient with computers. There's a healthy level of proficiency you need. But you need to know how to do PowerShell or do crazy things out of the gates? Not necessarily. And then certifications are required. That's not true. Certifications have their place. And for me, I feel certifications are, because if you follow certifications, you see they change every so often. And the reason is the objective of certification is for professionals to stay up to date with the changes in the technology. So for anybody who's looking to take that first step into a new field, into database administration, your certification doesn't really convince anybody. It doesn't make me believe you can do what you say you can do on your resume. What people are looking for is proficiency in the technology. Can you demonstrate your ability to solve their problems? That is what they are looking for. So when I talk about entry requirements, standard entry requirements, you need at least your high school diploma. Again, does it help to have a degree? Yes. Does it help to have a degree in computer engineering, computer science, information systems? Yes, but it is not a barrier to entry. But I need to emphasize that it is not a barrier. During your interviews, nobody is going to ask you to show your degree. They will ask you viable questions on what you have done. What are you able to do? How can you help us? Can you demonstrate the level of proficiency? That is what you really need. And so you need to be proficient in one of the technologies I showed us earlier. You have to be sound. That's the one area where I feel like you need to be solid. You need to find there's no generalist database engineer. You can know a bunch of tools or a bunch of platforms. You can know some Oracle, some SQL Server, some Postgres, but there has to be one where you're the experts. Like, this is my area, this is my strength, this is what I do well. You need sound understanding of one of those technologies, and you need to build up your proficiency. I think when I talk about experience, I mean proficiency, right? So you might not starting out be able to get. Somebody has to employ you to give you work experience, but it doesn't mean you don't get experience. You can do a lot of practice, build your own personal labs, and do a lot of work. In the end, it's about justifying to the interviewer that I can do this. They will give you scenarios and case studies and use cases. They will present to you, when this happens, what will you do? Assuming this happens, how will you handle it? Because in the end, they want to know, can you come in and help us? Right? So your ability to demonstrate, I always think of it like this. When people talk about their experience being pilots, they always ask for your flight hours. Like, not necessarily how long you've been a pilot or certified as a pilot, but how many hours have you flown? What's your sky miles, or what are your flight hours? That is more valuable than how long you've been a pilot. And so it's the same for us. It's the length of experience, how long you've been a DBA is not as important as how much have you been touching this thing and then working on it and solving problems and getting things done. That is what counts for us when it comes to getting a job or getting into this workforce. And I put the experience can be obtained through lab hours. Computer skills required, you need to at least know how to navigate your computer to get started. Eventually, the longer you spend on practice and building out your own labs and breaking things and rebuilding them, your proficiency will increase automatically. It's one of those things where you don't need to practice to become good with your proficient with your PC, your laptop. You're going to find out you can do things you didn't know were possible within your device. So let me check in again. Everybody can still hear me fine. Okay. So I have more people online than you. So thank you for coming in person. I always hang out with myself when I do these workshops. So just trying to make it more hybrid now, see how much people respond to coming in since we have this space. All right. So again, just diving into today's topic, non-technical skills that will help basically every DBA needs. Because again, it's easy to get lost in the technical stuff and forget that the non-technical things matter as much. The soft skills matter as much as the technical skills. All right, so let me know in the chat how you're feeling so far. All right, I see your responses. Again, I need your responses because that's how I know I'm not talking to myself. All right, thank you. There we go. Awesome. So let me even skip the slides. I've worked in this space for 12 years, like I said, and I've been teaching for the last 7 to 8 years. I've worked with so many people who they get it. They are really super smart. They know the technical stuff inside out. They were the best in their class when it came to who could do the stuff well, but they struggled getting a job. Right? And I've seen people who come in and they were the most unserious people I've ever worked with in my career, just unserious students, quote unquote. And somehow they are the first to get a job. And I found one thing is a lot of the people who get jobs the fastest, it's never really about their technical proficiency. Because you can't, your technical interviews are going to be handled by other DBAs. you can't impress them with how technical you are. They know what you know per se, right? They are not impressed by you being proficient from a technical perspective. Half the time, one thing we know is this job is not that complicated. Knowing it and learning it can be stressful in a sense. It's tedious, not stressful. I'll say it's tedious. It's a lot of new things, new information to take, but it's not difficult. What people necessarily look for is who can fit into our team, who will make my work easier, who can I go hang out with. Right now, most jobs are going that hybrid route, so you're going to go into the office maybe one time in a week. There's still a lot of jobs that are fully remote, but even for the fully remote ones, they try to implement things now to ensure that there's enough face time within team members, right? And so it's about is this somebody who will work well with us? Does this person fit into our culture, into what we do? And those are non-technical stuff that they are making a determination on. And so it's so important as we hone our technical skills and develop ourselves to be proficient in the technology, let's not ignore those non-technical skills that help you stand out, right? Both before you get a job and when you're on the job. Again, I've seen it. There are certain people I know, they can't keep any job to save their life. They either run out of patience or they say something really smart to somebody. They just have very horrible people skills, and and it's costing them jobs more than their technical abilities. They do the job well. They're really good. The annoying thing about this is technical roles like this, no matter how good you are, you're replaceable. There's always somebody who is hungry, who can do what you do. And again, most organizations are not necessarily looking for you to be, we're not building rockets, right? And so it's not like, even if you were there when SQL Server was created, it's still, we're not trying to use all of those. We just want someone who can come here, do some things, and get us through what we're trying to do. So non-technical skills matter. So I'll go through 10 of them that are required. The first one I put here is organizational skills. Being able to just manage your tasks. A lot of times we need to juggle priorities, right? Meet deadlines, and being able to stay organized. A lot of people fall through or default on projects, on deadlines. We have what we call service level agreements. And that just means this is the time that your clients, your users are expecting to have a job done. That's what's on the agreement, that, okay, if there is an issue, somebody is going to be looking into it in 24 hours. A lot of times we default on that because we have poor organizational skills. A lot of DBAs have seen that's the challenge they have. It's not that they can't do it. It fell through because they don't have a system in place to track what they're working on. So being organized is a very important skill. And again, this is something you can learn. It's a skill you can build and develop yourself on. So while we focus on acquiring the SQL Server skills, taking some time to learn how to, what organizational tools can I use? How do I stay organized? How do I keep up with what's going on in my life? What is it, Trello boards I want to use, or Notion, or whatever? How do I organize myself? How do I stay on top of tasks? Do I have a calendar management system in place for myself? Those things will help you when you eventually become a database administrator, or as you try to get into this line of work. The next one quickly is goal setting. Again, this is also a critical skill because you have to set goals that are realistic and achievable. You will have these conversations with your manager about what you're working towards within a company. These are things that actually give companies incentive to invest in you when they know clearly, when you can clearly communicate what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish. This will help you. Again, I've seen this with people trying to advance within the job or trying to maybe work towards a promotion. If you can't clearly articulate your goals, you can't build a strategy to get to it, right? Again, a lot of us are so driven by, and this was me, right? Starting out, all I wanted was to get a job, get stability, get some money. But as you go on, you realize there's more important things than that. If you're going to actually have a long career, then having goals will drive you. Your goals will help you, get up every day and go to work, because it's beyond just how you feel or getting a salary. It's more about I'm working towards something, right? So goal setting is an important non-technical skill to help us be successful. The next one is leadership. This is so important because sometimes there is chaos in situations that we have to deal with. sometimes the case is not that deep, it's not necessary, but because we're dealing with data, the business people don't necessarily understand everything that is a glitch, or maybe a report doesn't get sent out. Anything that affects the customer is an emergency for them. And so for us, we have to be able to maintain a level of composure, step in when somebody needs to respond to things quickly, encourage if you're in a senior level role, or even have other people, just being that calming voice that can break down, okay, who's going to run with this, and I'll take this one, or take ownership of this. It becomes so valuable as a skill. Again, a lot of people who are not as technically skilled have risen and become team lead and become managers because of this ability. Just being able to come out in front, be comfortable with communicating and giving directions on how things need to be done, especially when those chaotic moments arise, which eventually at some point in your career it will. This becomes an important skill set to have in your toolbox. So being a leader, we talk about leadership, it's a loosely used term, especially in sports. You have to be a leader. But it's really important, for the career person, especially when you're in this field, of database administration. The other thing too is we never really work in isolation. Even if you're the only DBA in your organization, let's say you're the principal database engineer, because it's a small shop, it's a small organization, it's not that big, you don't have you're still working within like an IT department. And so you're interfacing with program managers or product owners or scrum masters, you're working with application owners, you're working with server engineers and cyber security people, you're working with the network engineers. Being able to, again, be that voice of reason, get clarity, project manage sometimes is an asset. So leadership is an asset for you, going into this path, because we are always, whether it's within our team of the database engineers or even in the scope beyond database people, with all the other tech people that we work with, this becomes a very valuable skill. The next one is your communication skill. So written communication, oral communication. This is so powerful. I feel like this is, if you ask me, the most important skill in the world is being able to communicate. It's so powerful. Your interviews, there's a 95% chance you will not see a laptop or a computer in your interview. It's going to be what you say and how you say it. Can I take very complex technical things and make them simple? Right? Make it easy for somebody to understand. That's a powerful tool. Two people can explain the same thing, saying the same thing, but how they say it. The people on the other side listening to you, it makes sense to them, and suddenly they feel like you're the smarter person, just because you clearly articulated a thought better. Right? Communication is so powerful. Being able to speak now when you're writing reports. Some people just win favor because of the reports they sent after an incident happened. They can go in and do a proper RCA, like a root cause analysis of what happened. They clearly outline things. They can write all the wikis. These guys become preferred for certain projects because they can communicate clearly in an email or write reports up, right? They can clearly describe an incident from start to finish, and it's like a novel. It's exciting to read. So this is a skill, I feel, again, you can learn this by yourself, but it is so powerful, it will distinguish you. When I talked about people who I know who maybe were not that as serious in class, but went on to go become successful, go get a job quickly, this was their superpower, is they knew how to charm their way through interviews. They could talk, they knew when to use humor, they knew how to say what to say, or they could just understand a little bit of something. And then the way they talk about that small thing they know, they make it so big that you buy the rubbish they're selling. And it's so powerful if you can communicate. The reason why we trust one candidate in an election over the other one half the time is because how they sound. Right? So communication is such a powerful, powerful tool in our toolbox. I feel like everybody needs to do some self-development in this area, regardless of what field you are, regardless of what career path you're taking. I feel like this is one of the most powerful soft skills everybody needs to have a level of expertise or proficiency in. The next one is problem solving. This is our life. We solve problems. Most jobs, if you go on LinkedIn right now and look up database administrator positions, a lot of them will have something about production support inside. Whenever you hear support in any technical role, it just means solving problems. It's something is broken, someone needs to identify why and resolve it. Solving problems is not just knowing how to do the thing. It's being able to analyze why it happened. You don't want to solve a problem and then it happens again, right? That is why some mechanics at a certain level, you take they do band-aid fixes, resolve the thing, they resolve the symptom and never get to the root cause. And you're back again like, hey, you fixed this, why am I having this issue again? Good database administrators know how to investigate properly, find root cause of issues, solve problems, and the problem you solve should be solved, right? And so being able to, again, if I know I'm typed up, the slide and what I'm saying is not going together. That's because I'm speaking from, the slide is a guide. So in case you're wondering why I'm not reading the slide. So it's being able to solve problems is so important. Analyze the root cause, find the issue and solve. Again, this is what we do every day. Whether it's break fix issues, somebody does something and we need to go figure out what they did and why they did it and how to resolve it. You're doing major deployments and something breaks and somebody needs to go investigate and see what happened. That is us. So problem solving is a very important non-technical skill. Being able to just not go with the status quo, right? And just figure out, okay, what's the best way to solve this issue. The next one is attention to detail. If you're someone who just wants to get it done and move on, and again, this was me, I just wanted to, let's get through this quickly, but there's subtle details in everything that you need to pay attention to. And I've learned over the years to breathe and calm down, regardless of how urgent it is, right? Because you're going to get, everybody feels their problem is an emergency. And to them it is, right? But to you, because we work with so many different people in different aspects, it is, your job is to prioritize, your job is to, like, listen, it's not that deep, I will get to your task. Or I'm going to work on it, but you won't rush me, right? Because that's how we make mistakes, and our mistakes are costly. Remember, every business is driven by data, like I said before. Most businesses, regardless of what they do. Imagine you mistakenly delete important patient records. Because we have access to these things as the back-end people. You run a wrong script that corrupts data for a customer. Now you're in more trouble where you're trying to solve a problem. So we can't act on impulse. We can't just move because, a fire started. We have to be able to, figure out why. What happened? What led to it? 3-4 steps deep to figure out exactly what caused this. What's the best approach? Not the normal, what we do. Anybody who comes and tells you, well, that's how it's done. That's a very lazy approach. Yes, it's how it's done, but is there a better way to do it? What's the justification for this is how it's done? At least understand the why we do things the way we do it, right? Paying attention to all of the details, that will help you excel as a database administrator or a database engineer, and really just in every tech role. Research. We research. One of the things I always tell students is Google is our best friend. We are always living on there because no matter what you do, no matter how proficient you become in the technology, there's always going to be some random error message you've never seen before that will pop up. But guess what? It's never new in Google. Somebody has had that issue and written a blog about it. You're going to want to improve yourself. So research is something we will always do. There are certain things as you extend in your career, spend a long time doing this. There are things maybe you did it 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and now it comes up again and you can't remember how you solved it. Being able to go and research and figure out, what to do at a particular time is an asset. So being patient in looking and studying and checking the right sources to find the right solutions, verifying the solutions, again, because the fact is that it's online doesn't mean it's correct. So being able to verify a solution, do your own testing, do proper investigation, do a proper analysis, research, right? Look things up, read stuff. I mean, don't wait till things are broken before you research. Always make sure you're researching, you're learning, so that on the day when your number is called, it's not new to you. So that is a valuable skill every DBA needs to have. The next one is creativity. Again, there's more than one way to solve a problem, right? I have a little, I won't say respect, but I feel it's kind of weird when people come and tell me, well, that's how we do it. That's the only way, and that's the only justification for why you're doing taking a certain approach. Even if that's how we do it, explain to me why it's been done that way. Don't just tell me that's how we do it. Okay, I know that's how we do it, but why? All right, be creative, because question the status quo, right? Look for more. Okay, if there's better ways to solve this problem, if there's better ways, propose them. But being creative in how you solve problems is so important. All right, so it's super important that we're not married to one process. Your knowledge will increase, your experience will grow as you stay longer in the field. Be willing to experiment. Again, make sure our job is sensitive, again, like I said. So I can't just be willy-nilly about what I do in production with customer data. I'm going to follow due process and testing and make sure it's working, but I'm not married to one way of doing things. If there's a better way to do something, what makes people stand out in a team is somebody being able to come out and say, hey, I think this will work. Why don't we try this? Or why are we using this? We're paying for all of this and we don't need it because we can get the same results using this. That makes you stand out. Managers love to hear those kind of things, right? So creativity is very important. It's not just drawing, and we can be creative in solving problems. That's an asset for us in our line of work. The next one is time management. By God, this is next to communication is this one. Just again, because of how many priorities you might have to manage at the same time, your time is so important. You're getting into a new career so you can shut down when work is over, right? You don't want to take work home except you're on call and you have to be working after hours. But if you suck at time management, you will take work home. Right? Because especially when you work from home, there's that. You're going to keep extending your hours because you're at home and you want to get things done. No, being able to manage your time, allocate time to specific tasks and keep to it, right? It's the discipline of keeping to time, the time allocated, having a plan and then sticking to that plan. This will save you it will save your job. It will help you become efficient. It will help you stand out as a DBA. And it will help you have that balance you're looking for, right? I want to believe if you're looking to change careers, then you want to have sanity. You want a job that will give you, this job will give you the work-life balance you require. It will give you the satisfaction you need, the fulfillment you need, but it can drive you crazy if you don't know how to manage your time, because there is always something to do. There's always something to do. There's always something calling out to you. And when you start feeling like you're falling behind because you're not doing well with this managing your time, what you try to do is you're going to try to borrow from your personal time. You're going to try to borrow from your family time. You start convincing yourself, well, since I'm not driving to work, I can spend an extra hour here just trying to get things done. Will the sacrifice be required some time? Yes. Once in a while, you might need to work extra. If you're on call, yes, you need to stay after hours. But if you're consistently having to work outside of work hours, that is when it's not required. But because you have things you haven't done, then your time management is poor. And so this becomes a very important and crucial skill that we need to cultivate to be successful in our role. Again, I can do workshops and seminars on all of these soft skills and how to develop these skills, but I'm highlighting them so we can, as you start thinking of making a change in your career, you are thinking of not just the technical and the technology and the technical skills, but also, am I even equipped? Is the for the non-technical side? These are the things that determine success in the long run in this career. Next one is self-motivation. This, again, it sounds very willy-nilly, but it's so important because some days you don't want to do it. Some days you're not feeling like it, and the coffee is not kicking in on time. You need to be able to just tell yourself what needs to be done and get it done, right? It's so important to know when you need to give yourself that extra push to get things done, meet deadlines. Again, the world of work is kind of brutal when it comes to expectations, especially when they've been communicated to you clearly and you accepted and you signed on those lines. They expect you to deliver certain things. That's why time management is important. Organizational skills are important. Your goal setting skills are so important, right? At some point, this is where you have that extra self-discipline to kick yourself and say, hey, I have things to get done. This is my job. This is how I feed my kids. And so I need to get it done. Whatever pep talk you need to give yourself, learn to give it to yourself and, get done what you need to get done. So self-motivation is super important to do the kind of work we do, because again, some days it can get overwhelming, I won't lie to you, but it's also fun most days. in conclusion, there's a variety of non-technical skills that we need. And again, I've listed some of them. We've gone over every one of them. Not in depth, but I hope it's kind of stirred you up to start thinking about this from beyond just the technical, skills that we need to be successful. So this is what I've talked about so far. I covered who a DBA is, what our roles and responsibilities are. And again, like I said, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I will answer all of them. Let me know in the chat if you're still hearing me, just to make sure everyone is still hearing me. I just need a 1 or something in the chat to be sure you're still all here. There we go. I got 1. Thank you, Luna. So we've covered what the roles and responsibilities of a DBA are. We've looked at the requirements. We've looked at the opportunities. We've looked at non-technical skills. I skipped that part. You need important non-technical skills. So want to jump into quickly, how do I get started? If I'm looking to get started on this path, what are my options? So here they are. You can, if you're already working somewhere, this is an underrated, and again, I've done a workshop on this, like how to go about this process, but it's, people are underrated. If you're working somewhere and they have a big department for IT, maybe trying to work your way into that department, like making a lateral move, will be a good first step. And then try shadowing the database people in there, right? I've seen that work. I've mentored a few people who this was the route they took. They changed. In fact, the first set of people like I helped get into database administration, they were already working in the NOC. They were doing monitoring and keeping an eye on things. And so they decided they wanted to help us. They framed it like, we wanted to be able to help the DBAs more, so we don't call you guys all the time. And so let's learn a few things, show us a few things. And they were assigned to me, and in my generous way, I went ahead and like, hey, I'll just teach you. And I showed them a bunch of things, and they became proficient, and they ended up leaving the company, because they got more money. But that's a route that's available for you. There's a lot of things that need to be in place. It's dependent on your organization, on your manager, if they are willing to, work with you on that. But it's an option to explore, right? The other option is, going to getting an IT degree. And I know I said it's not required, but I've started seeing, especially like master's programs now. I've seen some master's programs that have some database concentrations, and so it's a viable path. It's, again, like I said, it's not required, but it takes much longer, and then it's expensive to go to school, especially here in the US. You're going back to any kind of degree program is costly. But there are those options. It didn't exist like 10 years ago. There weren't too many. You could do an independent study on, say, SQL or Oracle, but that would be independent study, not necessarily structured classes or, concentrations. My challenge with this, apart from the cost, is also, how deep are they going into specific technologies? Like, are they going deep enough that it's practical in the workplace, or just like most tech skills we acquire in school, it's generalist information, about it, but it's like, I know some object-oriented programming, I know some assembly language programming, I know operating system programming, I know a bunch of things. I can speak to them, but how many can I really do in the grand scheme of things? And so that's the I guess the drawback for school. There's online courses now. There's a lot of online courses where you can, especially if you are already working in tech in some way, then if you're already, let's say somebody who is maybe like a junior network engineer or server engineer that wants to maybe make a leap and get into data, because they want to make more money. There are, courses online that you can take, where you don't get the mentorship or support that you would get from a standard, situation like what we offer. But those are viable paths as well. Again, there's a lot of discipline and self-motivation and lack of guidance available. But if you're already in a situation where I know people who already do this, I'm working in tech some, I'm looking for the next level, then that's who I recommend this one for. Right, that's who I've had people who've come to me and I've referred them to courses to go take, instead of, coming and spending, a bunch of money with me, again, because they already have some level of experience. doing certain things. So if that's you, then that's a viable path. And the last one is just regular just career training programs. I don't like calling what we do boot camps, because boot camps are geared a lot towards certifications, but what we do is beyond certification. So in this situation, you're working with programs like or institutions like us, where we're offering the trainings, but also working with you towards getting a job. And even beyond that, working with you on the job to be successful. So you're not by yourself, whether through acquiring the skills or through the transition process, and even on the job, you have a community around you. I think this is a better investment to make. It's a faster route to take, and there's a bit more guaranteed, and there's no 100% guarantees anywhere, except that's the employer training you for a job. That's the only way you say, okay, 100%, you're definitely going to get this role. So those are the options you have, and if you're looking to make a change, these are the four ways you can go about making a career change. Now, I have not enough time to explain everything or go in depth, but we do have a program that we use, and I want to just quickly, if you guys don't mind, I'll use the next 10 minutes. I've spent almost an hour, to talk through our program. And if that's something anybody's interested in, we can continue the conversation afterwards. We have a certificate program, our SQL DBA certificate program. It's SQL Server is a Microsoft platform. And for us, we are a state-accredited institution. ENSA Technologies is accredited by the state of Georgia to offer career training programs. So not just SQL Server, but we have a couple of other programs we offer as well. But this is our pilot program. This was the first one that we started, that I teach and really good at. So that's our core program. It's designed to help you land a SQL Server DBA job in 8 to 10 weeks without breaking the bank or going back to school for another degree. So I'm trying to not save you some money, go back to school. Or we'll continue working with you until you do at no extra cost. And this is a cool guarantee to say, but we've built the program to where, except you're tired of seeing me or seeing us, we're going to keep talking to you. Even after the program, like the formal, I'm wrapping up a class this weekend. They've already signed up, all of them already signed up for our alumni support program. So I'm still going to meet with them every week to answer questions and guide them through their interview processes and everything they're doing. So that's how I built the program, because I feel like that's what I needed when I started. I wanted a place I could go and ask questions or figure out, okay, this is what I said in the interview. Did that make sense? So I'm trying to build that to solve the problem I had, and we found a lot of success with that. We started this last year, and it's been very. We've had good results so far from doing it. So we'll continue doing it, and that's why we can make that guarantee. We'll keep working with you until you get tired of us. Eventually, if you stay consistent and you know what you're doing, you'll get a job. And it's based around 3 core pillars. So we have the tech mastery phase. Obviously, you need to know what you're doing. I know today's focus has been on the non-technical skills, but we want to make sure if you go into a job, it doesn't feel new to you. You should be able to take classroom skills from your classroom and translate to the workplace. That's how we build the program, is so you can go from classroom to the job, and it's an easy transition. It's a seamless transition from class to work. And again, you have all of that support around you. And then we have our career launch framework. This is where we're working with you to make sure your resume is set up properly. We go through those recruiter conversations, that initial outreach phase. That's our focus here. The goal is make sure that you are being found by the right people, the right employers or prospective employers, and having consistent conversations. My goal I give my students is in that 8 to 10 weeks, you should be at a place where you're at least comfortable getting to interviews. My theory is it's a game of numbers. If you are doing interviews, 1-2 interviews a week, you have to be really terrible not to get a job after a month. That's 8 interviews. That's a lot of practice. If you do 8 interviews in a month, in 2 months, it has to be something supernatural that's a problem if you don't get a job. And so that's what we're building you for at that stage. And then the recruitment and hiring funnel, this is what we focus on. The interview itself, what to expect, how to prepare for it. I map out like a roadmap on what's based on my experience and the experience of other students that I work with, what exactly the expectation is. For most, there's people have what they think interviews should look like, and I have a different thought about most of these things on how to prepare for interviews. So we go into all of that. Again, it's built into the curriculum, and so you get all of this, out of the gates, going out of the program. So we meet twice every week for our live classes, weekly virtual sessions. We have the classes are recorded, so you have access to them forever, except YouTube. Except YouTube shuts down, which I don't think that will ever happen. We stream to YouTube and we give you the playlist at the end of the class. You have one-on-one sessions. We have unlimited support where we use Slack, so you can ask questions anytime. I will record answers myself. And typically I normally have like a support staff who's also available to help out with answering questions, but you're going to have me like undivided attention, and you get the job search and interview prep. You get access to our alumni community. That's priceless because there are job opportunities. There's people who just come and reach out and say, hey, Nnamdi, do you have anybody? We're hiring. So that's a benefit of just having a network, and then just meeting people who are doing or who have gone through the same journey. So people who are interviewing like yourself, or people who have, are working, you can, pick their brain and ask them questions. I try to bring some of them to talk about what they do to encourage students. So that's what you're getting, being in the program. And again, support still employed. We are working with you until you get a job, because in the end, that's why you're coming to us. Nobody just wants to come and learn this for the sake of learning. I mean, people love to learn, but you're not you can go, if you just wanted to learn to know, you probably just go on Microsoft's website and read up all of their material. They put out like white papers and things on this. If that's what you wanted, you would have gone there, but you're coming through because you want, or maybe you just like me, just write me a check instead. All right, so what else you're getting? We're authorized by MPEC. That's the only authorized education provider here in the state of Georgia, nationally actually. So a lot of people are training, but they have no accreditation, and people don't check. We can hold us accountable through the states. We can be shut down if we don't deliver on the quality of our trainings and all of that. So we have more to lose for not doing a good job. And that's why we need our students to be successful. That's why we kind of go through a process to ensure that, we have certain criteria to look out for when we're enrolling students, because we want to make sure we are helping you be successful. All of our training, you spend it, we do a lot of practice. It's hands-on, it's every project, you're going to do a lot of projects, again, you're trying to build your flight hours. So you do that by practice. So I will give you a whole load of projects and things to work on. And that's building up your muscles to be successful on the job. Training is flexible, so you have it's right now it's just weekends that we're offering. We do have other training options, but if that's something you're interested in, we can talk about. But our live classes are weekends, just weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. So I have a class today and tomorrow evening. And once you sign up, all of the tools and software is provided for you, so you don't have to, whatever you pay covers, software and all of that. You get your own laptop, but the software is provided. We're working with you again to help you with the job search process, everything, even beyond graduation. We're here to answer interview questions. You go for an interview and you have questions, we're going to work with you to review those things and make sure you're ready for the next one. You're going to have access to our resume vault to create a strong resume. And right now I review all the resumes. Our classes are not that large, so I do try to go over resumes myself to make sure that at least they're getting attention. Most of my students get like 2 to 3 resume reviews because I want to make sure it's working. If we're not getting the feedback we like, we go back and tweak something again and we'll try it again. It's tweaking, adjusting, and making sure we're getting the feedback we want. If we don't like what we're getting, we come back again and we look at, okay, what can we change? You get a certificate of completion to showcase your skills. Like I said, we are authorized to offer certificates, so it's not just somebody printing certificates. We actually have that verified by the state. And what that really means is you can take this, and if you want to go and, let's say you want to take credits to somewhere else, you can actually transfer your work with us as get credit for it for school. So I think it's pretty neat, even if that's just the goal. So I'm wrapping up. It's time to take the guesswork out of your career change journey. There's a lot of people who say they are trainers but don't have any experience. Some people just we train them and then they start training people, which is not bad, but you want to at least build some expertise. Everybody is advertising something online now. It's scary. How do you verify? Again, ask the right questions is look at their track record, ask the right questions. What accreditations do they have? Those are very important, because then if not, they can just shut down and nothing will happen. Okay, so, and that has happened. I've had people come to me and tell me, hey, I train with these guys and I can't reach them anymore. So that's one of the things I don't want to do, or I hate hearing. And so for me, just making sure that we're set up properly and we want to see people succeed. That is it. If not, there's enough money to be made in this field. If it's just about the money, there's enough money to be made for myself with all the experience I have. We can just keep doing the work and we'll be just fine. You don't have to work multiple jobs. You can do multiple DBA jobs, but some people work multiple low-paying jobs to, make up a decent earning. That's stressful. So I'd rather you're doing one good job that's paying you well, and you can have quality family time, quality, a good quality of life. You're not having to deal with not being there for your kids or your family or loved ones because you're working. Or just a low pay. This is America, man. This is the greatest country in the world, in my opinion. There's too much opportunity here. So let's take advantage of it. Again, this is just some feedback from students that have gone through our programs, and I'm going to just jump through them because of time. 80% of our students get jobs in 24 months. In the last 24 months, are working now. So just if you make it to the end, you'll be successful. That's what I say, and I say that boldly because I know it's worked. Our process definitely works. So again, this is all you get through our program, and the choice is yours, right? You can get started today, and I'll go ahead, and if you're for those of us online, I'm going to share. There is buttons to your right. You can book a call with myself or someone from my team. If you're interested in starting the program, you just click on the book a call button. And go ahead and book some time. Let's answer your questions. But it's time to decide, right? It's just, you've heard all of these good things. What are you going to do about it? If you have additional questions, we can answer those questions for you. So let this be the year everything changed. I'd love to work with you, and I know I can make that difference for anybody who's looking. If that's your goal, I can definitely help. Again, but don't talk yourself out of what you want to do. If you're ready to do, don't tell yourself you can't, because if you think you can't, you're correct. That will happen. If you think you can, you will bring the right energy and you'll be successful. So scan the barcode. If you don't like if the button is not working for you, just scan the barcode or type out that link. There's some bonuses here. I won't even go over them, but you get a lot of cool things for being in the workshop. You save more money from how the actual cost of the class. That's all I have. Book a call to get started. Let's go ahead and start. I've gone over time by 15 minutes. All right, let me see if we have any questions. All right. So go ahead and book a call, and this whole session is being recorded, so for those who registered, you will get a replay. I mean, if you're online, you definitely register, so you're going to get a replay to go over all of the things we talked about. But I will stop here for now. Thank you all very much for being here online and in person. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. All right, and let me go ahead and stop the webinar. Again, feel free, please, let me put my email in the chat. If you have any questions and you just need to ask a question, again, I'll recommend booking a call because we'll take our time to answer those questions. But if you want to send an email, that's the preferred way for you. Go ahead and send an email. Everywhere you found this registered from, you can always communicate back. It will always come back to me. So find us on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. And ask a question and it will always find its way back to me. So I would love to answer your questions. And I will see you on the call or in class or somewhere. All right. God bless.